ルトの言うこと聞いてもらうよ。何でも一ついいね。なんでもって。でもアルトなら。
Now that we are more than 3 weeks into the summer anime season, I decided now was the perfect time to figure out which shows are actually still worth watching. I looked at the top 10 shows from multiple seasonal charts to figure out which ones to check out. But I didn't just watch the first episode and call it a day. You really can't judge how an anime is going to evolve after just watching the first episode. So I decided I'm gonna watch the first 3 from 15 different shows this season. Why do I do this? As you would expect, not all of these are going to be the best, and some of them require watching the first season just to even get started. But the one thing that stuck out the most this summer season is that holy shit, these animes are way too horny. Can you guess which type of show the horniest one of all this season is? It's an isekai. Harem Labyrinth is about a dude who wakes up in a video game world with no idea where he is. He enters a town, and his entire purpose is to save up enough money to buy himself a sex slave. Jesus Christ. I'm new to watching seasonals this year, so this was one of the first times watching an isekai, and yeah, these aren't for me. I swear there are better shows to watch this season, and how this piece of shit made into the top 10 is just beyond me. Don't watch this, don't support this trash, and I swear there are better shows to watch this season. Like Vermeil In Gold.
私はベルメイ。人が悪魔と呼ぶもの。
Please hear me out. This one is nothing like the last one because the big titty girl actually wants to sleep with the 14-year-old boy.
さんの言うことなら何だって聞いたけど。なんだって。
Yeah, this one is just one step away from being as bad as the first one. Just like every anime, we have a high school boy with a girl in love with him, but of course he doesn't notice all her advances and that she would do anything for him. Like break into his house to make sure that the demon isn't sleeping with him. Well, she's too late for that. Oh, it doesn't stop there, because the girl that already liked the boy now has a rival, and there's only one way to settle this. It's with a showdown. And this is how she gets defeated. I can't believe after the 3rd episode I'm still watching this trash, but there's just enough of a compelling storyline here, and only about a minute of fan service per episode. I am not proud of what I am. My stepmom's daughter is my ex. The title pretty much sums up the show. The boy and the girl were dating in middle school, their parents got married, and now they are step-siblings, after they had already broken up. I wasn't expecting this, but the first episode is actually really good for this series. They are torturing each other with the secret they are both hiding while trying to figure out who's gonna be the older sibling. The writing was genuinely good in trying to make the other person fold under pressure, but that doesn't even last through a whole episode. The tonal shifts between the first 2 episodes are drastic for the female character. After she loses and falls for her ex's smooth talking, the way she decides to get the upper hand on him is by walking out in a towel and making him lust over her titties. Jesus Christ. This just feels so wildly out of left field after we saw how clever she was not even 10 minutes ago. The 2nd episode gets worse with this, when the sister fakes sick just so he will take care of her and hold her hand while she falls asleep. I thought she didn't like him 5 minutes into the 1st episode. But of course, now they're gonna fall in love again and have to hide it. I just wish this show would have been a little more reserved with how quickly they made her fall in love with him again, because seeing the smart tactics they would pull on one another would have been a much better premise. Also, the girl is portrayed as the one that loves him more than he loves her, but that's just because he was the one to actually break it off after the honeymoon phase has ended. What we are now getting is a show that tries to entice the viewer by showing a high school girl's barely clothed body in episode 1, and then not showing anything more of it throughout the next 2 episodes. And I actually liked that. It's trying to present itself as being more than just anime trash in episodes 2 and 3, but the paths they are going down don't seem that well thought out. The sister was smart and deliberate, but now they have her stealing his underwear and smelling it. He also stole her underwear, but we aren't shown what he decided to do with it. With an excellent first half of the 1st episode and an okay 2nd and 3rd one, this is a show that is really going to have to prove itself with the rest of the season. There is still a chance at pulling off a well-told story, but I could just as easily see it missing the mark. I'm rooting for it to end well, but if it falls on its face, then it's whatever. When will Ayumu make his move? This is the high school romance anime of the season, just like how My Dress Up Darling was in winter and Shikamori was in spring. It's about a guy and a girl that will definitely not kiss during this season. Huh, that's exactly like the other 2. I'm a sucker when it comes to high school romantic animes because the girls are always way more exciting and expressive than the guys, where their role is usually the more reserved and quiet type. Ayumu, though, takes that role to another stratosphere. He barely shows any emotion on his face, and all the blushing and embarrassing moments happen across Senpai's face. This leads to a different dynamic for this show, but not one that will help it beat out My Dress Up Darling or Shikamori for Best Romance Anime this year. If you like the romance genre, then you'll probably like this one, but there just isn't anything here that hasn't already been done better by the other two this year. Okay, I'm not just going to be talking about the original animes this season, but also the ones that are returning that you should watch as well. But first, before we get into that, let's talk about the ones that I've already dropped. Uncle from Another World. Don't kill me. I feel like I'm the only anime fan that's just not loving this show right now. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It just didn't captivate me in pretty much any of the ways that people are loving it for. I didn't find the humor funny, I didn't care for any of the characters, and I just don't like anything isekai related. But don't take my opinion seriously, because one of my most anticipated shows was about Satan working at McDonald's, so what the hell do I know? Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Just didn't captivate me. Parallel World Pharmacy. It's an isekai. Summer 2022 is the season of sequels, with Classroom of the Elite, Devil is a Part-Timer, Rental Girlfriend, and Made in Abyss, all getting a second season. I actually binged the best first seasons of the animes who have season 2s airing right now, like Made in Abyss, Devil is a Part-Timer, and Classroom of the Elite. I only watch the good ones. This show originally came out almost 10 years ago, and it's just finally getting a second season this year. To put that into perspective, Attack on Titan's anime premiered during the same season, and it's almost finished airing in that time frame. One Piece still hasn't finished, Demon Slayer's manga began and finished, and I still haven't kissed a girl. Seeing Satan and Hero bicker back and forth is hilarious, and when the devil hugs Chi to protect her, you can already guess her reaction, but it's still even funnier than what you thought it was going to be. Witnessing these small character moments outweigh the slightest drop in animation quality this new season has, and with the first episode ending with a baby appearing and saying she is Satan and Hero's kid, this season was gonna be amazing. Now that we're 3 episodes in, I'm still waiting for it to get amazing. I fully expect this show to get better, but right now, it's just setting everything up, and nothing in the last 2 episodes have made me laugh like the first one did. There are some shows that are better to watch all in one go instead of week by week, and The Devil is a Part-Timer might fit in that category. But there's one show that is absolutely better to watch all at once, and that's Classroom of the Elite. Do you want an anime where you are constantly trying to guess what's going to happen next? Well then, Classroom of the Elite is what you've been waiting for. There are a lot of rules and lore to explain with this show, but if you stick with it and pay attention, I promise you it pays off. Each episode ends with a massive cliffhanger during both seasons, and I always wanted to just dive right into the next episode. So now that I'm watching season 2 week by week, it's just torturous. This season 2 hasn't been perfect though, because it started out with a confusing game that required my full attention, and I still couldn't grasp the whole picture. But the show's pacing has already moved us past that game. This would be my favorite returning show right now if it wasn't for Made in Abyss. Its reputation precedes this anime, because all I knew going into it was that it's a tough show to watch for some people. But for me, I fell in love with this show. The characters, the setting, and the mystery behind every aspect of its world just captivated me in a way that few shows barely do. This isn't the easiest show to catch up on by having to watch an emotional train wreck of a first season combined with a literal gut punch in the form of the 3rd movie. But if you like dark, fucked up themes, then do yourself a favor and watch this show. The reason I watch anime is for stories that show how deep the bond of friendship can be without having to make them romantic, and when that relationship is pushed to the brink of death, I live for that shit. I want to genuinely feel something when I invest my time in a show, and Made in Abyss is one of my favorite pieces of media ever created. But I still will give a viewer discretion warning, because we are dealing with children dying in fucked up ways all throughout this show. If you want something that's going to emotionally break you, then I just can't think of a better example than Made in Abyss. It is now finally time to talk about the animes that aren't trash or returning with a season 2, and let's start with Black Summoner. It's about a dude who wakes up in a video game world with no idea where he is. He enters a town, and his entire purpose is to save up enough money to buy himself a sex slave. Wait, I've already watched this exact show. I couldn't believe it when I turned Black Summoner on, and it was almost a carbon copy of Harem Labyrinth. They aren't exactly the same though, because this guy actually helps the girl that's enslaved by breaking the curse that was cast on her. But then they end the episode with her in a maid outfit. God damn it, when are we gonna actually get to the good shit? Lycoris Recoil is about a secret group that are the reason that the island of Japan is safe by preventing attacks before they happen. As you would expect, all the Lycoris are beautiful young women, and the story revolves around Chisato and Takina. Chisato is the overly expressive extrovert, and Takina is the by-the-books introvert. These two characters' interactions with each other are the reason why this show is still at #1 on most anime charts. One moment they can be laughing with each other, and the next they can be serious and get the job done. With Lycoris Recoil being a completely original show that's not based on a manga or light novel, it's able to move at a breakneck pace that feels so refreshing this season. Within 3 episodes, we get an entire character arc that feels like something you would only witness throughout 26 episodes normally. We see Chisato breaking down Takina's emotional defenses and finally getting her to express her feelings in hilarious ways. These two character archetypes have been done before, but that's why it's copied here. It just works so well together. Their relationship can be perfectly summed up in this 3-second clip that plays during the opening. This show keeps topping the charts each week, and I truly think that we are watching one of the best shows that this season has to offer. Engage Kiss. It's about a broke loser of a man that has 2 beautiful women taking care of him. They pay his phone bill, they feed him, and they can't get enough of this bum. But since there are 2 girls, jealousy just has to come into play here. You've already seen shows like this, but how is this able to break the top 10 each week? Okay. Now I understand. I wasn't planning on watching any more of this show after the first episode finished, but I told myself I was going to watch the first 3 episodes of each show before I decided to drop them, and I am glad I decided to do that. The first episode really didn't pull me in and painted the picture that the love triangle was going to get extremely annoying over this pathetic guy, but all of that changed in 2 episodes. It revealed a way deeper story than I ever thought it was capable of. The 2 main girls are playing mind games with each other that are exceptionally written, and the action comes out of nowhere, and sometimes even starts the episode with a bombastic encounter. I honestly highly recommend this show, and I'm glad I didn't drop it because I was going to do the same thing with the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. I sat down with dinner one night and decided, what the hell, I'll watch episode 2. And 20 minutes later, I'm crying. This show, it hits you hard, and I wasn't prepared for it, but the fact that it blindsided me makes it one of the shows I look forward to the most every week. That is, until the episode 4 that just aired. The fact that they had a filler episode right after foreshadowing exciting events is just insane to me. I just got done watching this episode at the time of writing this script, and it feels like the hype train for the show didn't just stop, it got blown off the tracks. I'm gonna still keep up with this show weekly because I know this story can be fantastic out of nowhere, but now it can also be pointless just out of nowhere. If that's the only filler episode this season, then it will stand out as one of the weirdest ones of the show. But if there's more episodes like that coming up, I might be dropping this show. The first 3 episodes, they are outstanding, but maybe wait for the entire season to air first so you can skip episode 4 on your watch through. Oh shit, I haven't even described the show yet. The title's self-explanatory. A Yakuza member is forced to watch over his boss's daughter in order for him to mature as a person. The kind and gentle relationship between the Yakuza and the daughter is so sweet and emotional that it can really get away with a lot. Let's just hope we get the full course next time and not just a filler meal. Okay, with 14 of the 15 shows out of the way right now, it's time for my final recommendation. And if there's only one anime that you watch this season, then make it Call of the Night. This was the show that I was looking forward to the most this season. I remember when the trailer dropped, and just seeing how beautiful the backgrounds were drawn was all the motivation I needed to check this show out. It's about a guy who can't sleep at night and just wants to explore the city after dark. He really just wants to blend in with the background and be left alone, but is always being dragged into situations he doesn't want. Then he meets a strange girl at night that is everything he's not. Outgoing, confident, and can express how she's feeling. In his pursuit to get some sleep, the girl invites him back to her place to help him fall asleep, and that's when we learn her secret. She's a vampire. After she sucks his Neck, he realizes what just happened and comes to a strange realization. He decides that his purpose in life is to become a vampire now. The problem with that though is he has to fall in love with Nazuna now before he can become what she is. Nazuna is the type of girl to have no reservations when talking about sex, but as soon as anything romantic is brought up, she immediately starts blushing and wants to change the subject. As you can probably guess, this leads to some incredible dialogue in the second episode. Anytime he shows his neck with the bite marks on it, Nazuna reacts as if he just spread his legs for her and invited her in. But then when she goes and sucks his blood without any warning, he suddenly feels dirty for letting her do that to his body without his consent. This anime is one of the most promising non-sequels of the season because I actually care about what's going to happen between these two opposites. With the other non-sequels that are airing right now, to me, they just feel like watered-down versions of anime that I already watched. Ayumu is a weaker Kaguya-sama where the love interest won't tell the other person their feelings. All the isekais airing are literally carbon copies of each other, and Vermeil plus My Stepmom's Ex are just male fantasies put to screen. These all serve their purpose for the respective audiences, but I'm just interested in shows that are actually going for something truly original. With all 15 out of the way, I'm going to rank them now in the top 10 order. And for my rankings of what animes I enjoyed the most so far, they would be number 1, Made in Abyss. Number 2, Call of the Night. Number 3, Lycoris Recoil. Number 4, Engage Kiss. Number 5, Classroom of the Elite. Number 6, The Devil is a Part-Timer. Number 7, The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. Number 8, My Stepmom's Daughter is My Ex. Number 9, When Will Ayumu Make His Move? And number 10, Vermeil in Gold. And that's the end of the video. So thank you guys so much for making it to the end. I'm really enjoying making this anime content, but I do have some other video game related videos coming out, and also some that are just kind of completely out of left field, talking about stuff that I just want to talk about and that they might be video game related, they might be movie related. I don't know. I'm just trying out and just making videos that I actually want to make. So if you guys want to see those, like and subscribe, fucking whatever you want to do there. But thank you again so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.